Hello and welcome. Among the dozens of interviews I've done with famous actresses around the world, few were more emotional than with superstar Cher, talking about her award-winning and moving performance in Peter Bogdanovich's Mask. Based on a true story, Cher plays Rusty, the biker-chic mum of 16-year-old Rocky, who suffered from a terrible disease that forced the calcium in his skull bones to misshape his head. While Rocky bravely tries to lead as normal a life as possible, Rusty is a caring but feisty mum fighting not only for her son's rights, but also battling a drug and alcohol habit. Her performance won her the Best Actress award at the Cannes Film Festival. Cher was in Sydney for the Australian launch of the film back in 1985. She spoke about the poignant reaction the real-life Rusty had to the film, written by Anna Hamilton Phelan.
You said yesterday, and I think you said it at Cannes as well, that about how she hadn't kissed him that night till he died, and now she kind of
feels like she gets a second chance. Yeah.
What other reactions did she have to the film when she saw it? Has she talked to you about the film?
See, she and I have not talked really about the film and all this stuff between Peter and Universal and all that. I know she wanted to have the Bruce Springsteen music in, and she was upset about that. And she talks to Anna like every day. And so Anna would tell me, different things. The only thing she told me was how much she loved my work in it and how happy she thought Rocky would be that his story was out, Besides that, I didn't go into any detail with her because, first of all, there were 5 million people standing around. And secondly, that was all I was really interested in. The other things are things that don't interest me too much.
I just thought she might have had another emotional kind of response to the film. But I guess that's it's simple but profound that she kind of sees it as a second chance it'll always be there.
Well, she also, she had, she thought Rocky was such a comedian and he had such a great sense of humor. She always thought that he was the one that was kind of directing everything, like that he was around someplace just laughing and watching us all go through these antics of doing his life. And she really felt that, so that she has a real, like I had said to Anna, because that night in Cannes, in the middle of the screening, it occurred to me that she was sitting there. I had never seen the film with her before. She had seen the film alone. I had seen the film, and I went up on the tour.
This is Anna or Rusty?
No, Rusty. And I thought in the middle of the film, I thought, Jesus, what is going to be like? What is it going to be for her at the end of this film? And I was very uncomfortable all of a sudden because for me it was really emotional. But I thought, what's it going to be like for her? And I had talked to Anna, and Anna said, like the first time, she was real tough about it. She didn't cry. She just said, yeah, it's good. I like it, and I think he'd be really happy. And she walked out. And this night she was really hysterical when she came up to me. She was like really crying. I mean,
this
tears.
Is at the official screening. Then.
Yeah. And so I could, and I knew from Anna that she really liked my performance and she liked my portrayal and she thought that, it was honestly the relationship that they had, And that night, it was usually in front of people. She's not really that vulnerable, but that night, I guess the emotion was really overwhelming for her.
I wasn't. I saw it that morning, of course, the press screening, but I presume that it was the same. People stood up and clapped, and that would have been
for a real
more
long
than anybody
time.
Could.
Yeah, and I guess she was holding it in for a real long time. Also, she was crazy about him, And when he died, even though she says she believes he's around, but I know that when she saw Eric made up for the first time, she came up and she said, "It's really great to see you. I haven't seen you in such a long time."
She said to Eric,
"Yeah."
As if it was Rocky.
As if it was really Rocky. And Eric said it was... But I have to tell you, people who knew Rocky and saw Eric, until they realized what was going on, they were like, it was like seeing a ghost. Because from what I understand, and seeing the pictures of Rocky, Eric looked like Rocky. And he even talked and had body language that was like him. So, it was very strange.
Yes, must have been.
Quite weird. Kind of freaky.
You talked also in there about this new film that you're going to do, or not new film that you're going to do, but the project that you want to do yourself.
Which one? I'm working on 3.
You're working on 3? Oh, no,
Yeah.
you were talking about 1 at the press conference yesterday.
Oh, the singer, the woman. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you developing two others yourself, are you?
One is a movie that I've been trying to get people to buy for, oh Jesus, it's 1980? No.
Right.
No, longer ago than that. Since 1976.
Really?
A movie called The Enchanted Cottage that Warner Brothers just is in the process of buying. I think they're finished. I think they're through it. They're going to buy to do a remake. And the other is an idea.
Well, The Enchanted Cottage is what?
It's an old movie that was made in like 1941, I think, with Robert Young and Dorothy Maguire.
Right. And what you want to do that?
Yeah.
In the Dorothy Maguire role.
Mm-hmm.
And Warner's have actually bought the... Is it originally a Warner's picture or something?
No, I don't think it was a Warner Brothers picture, and I know they don't own it now. I don't remember who actually made it in the beginning. It was one of those kind of small studios, I think, and then it was acquired in just a catalog that was bought, and all you buy a catalog of a whole bunch of movies.
Right,
it was one of them. And the other is an idea that I had that I met with Dawn Steele about one day at lunch, and then in the afternoon she met with a writer named Nicolas Cage who had the same idea, so she put us together and we're working
Nicolas
on
Cage? You mean the guy who did Racing with the Moon?
No, not the actor, the writer.
Okay.
He wrote a book called Eleni.
Eleni? Oh, right. Of course. Yes, the New York Times writer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's based on a true story about a woman in Germany who had a child that was raped and murdered by this man, and she killed him in the courtroom.
What's it called again?
There's no name
There's no
for
title.
it. No.
So what's the situation with that property? I mean, do you own the property? Or?
Well, I mean, nobody owns it. Nikki and I are working on it together for Paramount.
Right. Oh, for Paramount. Right. So which one's going of the three? Which do you think is likely to go first?
I really don't know. I mean, I have no
They're
idea.
all basically in sort of
They're
fairly
both
much
in
underdeveloped stages.
They're both in the writing stage. I mean, the three of them are in the writing stages. I mean, one is already done, but it has to be rewritten. The Enchanted Cottage has to be brought up to date.
And you talked about going down to observe some filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? What was the movie you were?
My friend is making a movie called I can never remember the name of this film.
Who's the director?
His name is James Foley.
All right.
And he's making it, and it's with Sean Penn and
Right.
Christopher Walken. And it's a true story, and I'm really interested in the direction part of it. So I'm going to go down and be with them for a while. In
Do you want to direct?
I don't know.
But you just feel it's a good idea?
I want to know more about it, and I want to know more about it when I can observe and not be worrying about my work, because I can't do both.
So between, obviously for the last 4 or 5 months or so, you've been on the road promoting. But are you in fact singing? Do you do shows now?
No.
Not at all?
Nothing.
So when did you last go on the road for a show? Or in fact...
Right before I shot Silkwood.
Right.
And that was...
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So how do you fill in your time? I mean, looking after the kids, I guess, to a degree is...
Well, my daughter's not. I mean, my daughter's 16 years old. I don't look too much after her.
She's more a friend, I guess, than
yeah, I mean, we spend time together, and we go to plays, we hang out, but she's got her friends.
Does she still live at home?
Well, she's living in New York right now. She goes to the High School of Performing Arts. And she lives with her best friend and her best friend's mother. And they're both going to come out to California for their summer vacation. And they spend all their vacations out in LA. So they kind of have the best of both worlds, I think. And she might go with me to London to open the film there. And I look after Elijah. When I was 16, I was living alone on my own, working. So I'm still kind of her parent. But if I haven't done my job by now, it's not going to really help to try and do it now. So I haven't really had too much free time. I've been working a lot on the projects that I've been doing, and a lot on the press that I've been doing for the movie. That's right.
And how's Elijah enjoying? Is he enjoying it?
He's at Manly right now, I think. He went on the hydrofoil, and we got to, I worked all day yesterday. I'm working all day today, the first day we got here, we went over to the koala park and we spent the day there, and that was a lot of fun.
How did he react to that?
He's been to Australia before.
4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and he was excited. That's all he kept saying, Mom, can we go to the koala park? And so he had a good time. He likes it here.
And does he like the travelling?
Both of my kids have been traveling. Chassie started traveling when she was 6 weeks old. I think that, there's a little bit of a downside, but I think the upside, first of all, kids make great travelers. I mean, they travel much easier than adults. My kids have been, everywhere in the world and really enjoyed it, gotten to meet people. And I think, one of the things about Americans that bothers me sometimes is that we have a tendency to think we're the only ones that there is, that there are in the world.
True.
If you're happening in America, it doesn't make a difference. There is no outside world. There's just us in America. It's not like if you live in Europe and, you realize that there are other cultures and other languages and things like that. Most Americans go to some place, and if they don't speak English there, Americans are really pissed off because they can't understand why not. So I think that my children have gotten really a sense of what's happening in the rest of the world that most people will never have. And I think that that's a really a good thing for them also to appreciate other looks and other cultures and not put them down. I think that when we were in Africa, they were really excited and very respectful. And when we were in Japan, one time I took my daughter, this time I took my son. So that I think it's better. I mean, to leave them at home I wouldn't have liked it. But they're a little bit gypsy. I mean, they're gypsy kids, Yeah,
but I think you're right. I think that does the world good. It's an education in itself. So why do you wear wigs?
You're really hung up on this. Because right now I'm in a process of, my hair was red for the movie. Then it was, when I finished doing the movie, I cut it all off and made it white. And then I had it black and white for a while. And then I thought, you know what, I really should try and get a little bit more serious and get my hair back to a place where I can start, using it. But right now, it's at a length that I find really boring. And, trying to let it all grow out to be, a certain length.
So you wouldn't show me what it was like?
No. I mean, it's not like anybody's here. It's very short, about like this, and I'm letting all the layers grow in because it was very short like this. Right. So it's kind of a very stage. It's at a stage that's it's dull.
I was just kidding. I just wanted to see what your reaction was.
So I mean, that's kind of why.
A later recut of Mask replaced some of the initial music with songs by Bruce Springsteen, which had been Rusty's original request. Cher, of course, has gone on to star in films like Suspect, The Witches of Eastwick, and Moonstruck, for which she won the Oscar for Best Actress. But Cher's involvement with Rusty and the making of Mask inspired her to become involved with many humanitarian groups and charity efforts over the years, particularly her work as national chairperson and honorary spokesperson of the Children's Craniofacial Association.